Continuing on with the 2005 Las Vegas 400, we left off with Lightning McQueen taking the lead from Ryan Newcar on lap 199. He would lead for 20 laps, but during that time, Chick Hicks would wreck Sterling Carlin on lap 208. Mark Carton would take the lead on lap 219, only leading for a few yards before losing the lead to the King. He would lead from the beginning of lap 220 to lap 230, before Mark Carton would take back the lead on the beginning of lap 231, only leading for roughly one lap before he'd lose the lead to, surprisingly, Dave Laney, who would lead another one lap. But on that lap, Eugene Carbureski would wreck Ken Schrader, as usual, and then he would bump Dave Laney into the wall at the beginning of lap 233, where he'd take the lead and lead to lap 236. Before he'd lose the lead to Ernie Gearson, he would lead to lap 240 before losing it to me on that lap. I'd lead all the way to lap 278 before the number 78 car, Mark Burnsley, would surprisingly take the lead. He'd lead to lap 281 before he'd lose the lead to Lucas 95, who would lead to lap 326, and during that time, Ricky Sled would get back on the lead lap, he goes up a lap, or gets one of his laps back, but he's close to getting back on the lead lap. Meanwhile, Harvey Traxxon would take the lead on lap 326, and lead to lap 345 before he'd lose the lead to the other Plymouth, the King, who would lead to lap 349 before losing it to Jeff Burnton, who would lead to lap 352, where Kurt Busch-Tire, during that time, would try to wreck Sonic OMT again, and Sonic OMT is not happy about Kurt Busch-Tire trying to wreck him. And he'd say this: Kurt Busch-Tire, out of anger, would wreck Ruby Nightcar at the beginning of lap 351, and he would take the lead at the beginning of lap 352 and lead to lap 358 before he'd lose the lead to Greg Candyman, the pole sitter, who would lead for a few yards before losing it to me on lap 358. He would lead to lap 360 before Lightning McQueen would take the lead. He would lead all the way on lap 393, but Chick Hicks would bump draft Lightning McQueen on that lap. This causes Lightning McQueen to go down a lap because of this, and Chick Hicks would take the lead. He would lead to lap 397, but on that lap, on lap 396, but Jeff Gorvette would help Lightning McQueen get back on the lead lap. And McQueen successfully does get back onto the lead lap on lap 396. And one lap later, he would take the lead from Chick Hicks and lead till the end of the race. But once he took the lead, he would say this to Jeff Gorvette, thanking him for helping him get back on the lead lap. And Jeff Gorvette would say this in response to Lightning McQueen thanking him. And I also have this comment to say about McQueen thanking Jeff Gorvette. What's even better is that Ricky Sled would get back onto the lead lap, finally, after so many laps on lap 399. And, as for Lightning McQueen, he would go on to win the 2005 Las Vegas 400, getting his very first Piston Cup win. And he says his iconic catchphrase once he wins, beating out Chick Hicks, who only finished second this race, somehow beating the King. But the King would go down one position on last race, finishing third this race, beating out Jeff Gorvette to round out the top three. Sonic OMT, meanwhile, would finish fifth this race, right ahead of Lucas 95, basically making them both switch places, but Sonic EXE would stay in the same position he was in last race, finishing seventh. Ahead of me, I'd finish eighth this race, right ahead of Hollingus, who managed to finish ninth this race, and rounding out the top 10 is Greg Biebel. Ricky Sled would be the last car to finish on the lead lap, finishing 40th this race, rounding out the top 40. This means that 10 cars failed to finish the race. Now, here's the standings. I already went over the top 10. Here's the top 7, but here are the cars finishing in the top 15, which will be rounded out by Joe Brakecheck, who bumps 2 positions down from last race. Surprisingly, Travis Draftville finished in the top 15. Nobody expected him to do so. And Mark Carton loses the top 10, round out to his teammate Greg Biebel. Greg Candyman is in 13th behind Harvey Traxxon, who finished 12th. And that's top 15. Tony Gasworth did nothing all race, I don't think. missing out on a top 15 points, top 15 finish. Marco Cartrip, the number 15 car, would finish 17th this race, right ahead of Jeff Burnton. Rusty Wheelhouse finished 19th, Claude Scruggs in 20th. Justin Powerwheel finished 21st ahead of Ryan Newcar and Scott Rims. And Jamie McCarry would round out the top 25. Here's some more racers. Kevin Harvick rounds out the top 30 ahead of Carl Edwards, the rookie. Finished ahead of another rookie. Kyle Busch-Tire finished all the way down in 32nd ahead of his older brother Kurt, who finished almost exactly 30 positions behind Sonic OMT, the racer he tried to wreck out earlier. But he did beat out Chuck Armstrong to finish 33rd. Very interesting. The number 33 car missed out on a 33rd position. And Dale Earnhardt was 55 numbers higher than Chuck Armstrong, would be the last car in the top 35. And Eugene Carbareski would finish 39th this race, managing to wreck out his rival Ken Schrader. Ricky Sludd, as mentioned, was the last car to finish on the lead lap, and also the last car to finish the race altogether. And Ruby Knight car sadly wrecked out again. And here's some more cars that failed to finish the race, including Misty Motocross, Kevin Shiftwright, Casey Corner, and Dirksen D'Agostino. Oh, and Sterling Carlin. And here's the bottom three. Bobby Carboni had an engine failure on the exact same lap he did last race, but he did get 48th behind Brian Vickers and Dale Earnhardt Jr., who sadly had to finish dead last this race. But at least Bobby Carboni did not finish dead last, and luckily no cars got disqualified. But that will round out the Las Vegas 400. Next race is the 2005 Texas 350. See you then.